everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards, and I wanted to welcome you back to Create and Inspire for another exclusive video for me. Today I'm going to be using some digital images, and you can see here I had laid out several of them on my Silhouette software and cut them out. I am going to use the Magnolia here, and I looked it up on my phone just to kind of get a good idea of what a magnolia looks like. I used to have one in my yard a very long time ago, and I think it bloomed once. So I really didn't have a very good idea of what they look like. I knew they were pink, and I thought they had some yellow in them, and the ones I looked up did. So this is printed on Bristol smooth cardstock. I sent it through my Canon laser printer, and then I die cut it using my Silhouette and my Silhouette software. I just have the Silhouette Cameo. I think it's the Cameo 2. It's pretty old. So here I'm using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and this is a really light pink that I'm first laying down. There's a lot of lines in this illustration, so I wanted to make sure that I could differentiate the petals, and I kind of knew what the layout of the flower was before I went in with this darker pink. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers with water. I tend to use them with the blender brush most often, and that is what I'm going to use them with today. So after I went in with that really light pink, I just layered this darker pink over where the deepest shadows would be. And I didn't pull it all the way out to the ends of the petals because I will be bringing in some yellow out there, but I need to make sure that I put in all of the shadows. And I'm not going to show you coloring this entire image because it's just a bunch of the same thing. I will show you this flower in its entirety though. So after I put in the darker pink, I went back with that lighter pink that I originally had laid down, and I just pulled it out just a little bit. I didn't go all the way back to like the base of the color, but I did go pretty far in so that I could pull that out. Then I added some yellow. After I get this all done, I bring in this very light yellow. It's really kind of hard to see here. You'll see it much better in the photos at the end. But I pulled the yellow in from the end of the petal toward the pink. Just adds a little bit of variation in color. And from looking at the photos on my phone, definitely resembles the magnolia flower much better with that kind of pop of light yellow in there. And then I took the blender brush and I just blended the two kind of color families together, the pink and the yellow. I didn't blend them like so that I would get orange. I just kind of softened the edges a little bit so that it wasn't such a harsh line between the yellow and the pink. And I really do love how these flowers are drawn, and I think that they make it very easy to color. These are by Joy Claire Designs, and they are a brand new release. I will have a link. If you click on the YouTube to watch on YouTube, you can grab the link there to go pick this up. This is a stunning set. I love it. I think it's so pretty. And you can print it just the same size it is, or you can alter it and change the sizing, which is kind of neat about digital images. If you've watched my channel, you notice that I've been using more digital images lately just because, well, we had this global thing that happened and digital images were readily available. There was no shipping time, anything like that. So a lot of companies did add digital images to their inventory, and I've been using them quite a bit lately. I've been using my Silhouette software and a program called getpaint.net. Here for the background, I hadn't clicked my camera on, but what I did is just double stencil, put the lacy kind of stencil down and a circle masking stencil, and then variated the color from pink to yellow over top, and I get this really cool background, just a spotlight kind of thing. And I had printed out the sentiment on a piece of vellum and just trimmed out around the one edge and left kind of a tab. Then I attached my flower, and then I just trimmed it off so you couldn't see it beyond the flower. And I'm going to adhere this panel down to my pink cardstock. I just thought that the pink would definitely help that flower pop off the page. Kept the color palette very, very minimal. The yellow and the pink with a little bit of the green from, the foliage on the flower, and then white and black. So very, very simple, and I think it does well with this image. I don't feel like it needed to be any busier, and I just think this is a very pretty card, in my opinion. You'll have to tell me. But digital images are super fun. I could have printed this out and made a background with it, made it smaller or larger, and used that to make a background, and then featured one of the florals on the top. But I just wanted to do something really simple. Here I'm just deciding where I want to add some of these crystals. These are Pink and Main crystals. These are super tiny, so I just put a dot of glue right on my glass mat here, and I'm picking them up with the gooey end of the quick sticks and dipping them into the glue, and then using the other end of the quick stick just to make sure that I have it all set down. I actually seen a comment on a video a while back that somebody had one of these for a long time and didn't know that they came apart. So if that was you, or if you have one and don't know it comes apart, it comes apart. It's got two cool ends on it. One's a pokey, one's like a flat side. And you don't need to squeeze that. I have had this one forever, and it still has the perfect amount of goo sticking out. So you don't need to do that. Here I was adding some of these gems around the sentiment. Now remember, I printed that on vellum, and if you put adhesive under vellum, you either need to put it under the whole piece of vellum or you need to hide it because it will look different. So here I'm just hiding it underneath the gems. I just added it right under the gems. I didn't want it to be adhered down super tight, but I wanted it to kind of float, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't gonna float up. I just added a little bit of sparkle to the ends of the petals, kind of over where the yellow was. I thought it just added just enough sparkle to my flowers that they were really pretty, and I personally think that this is a really pretty card. It could say anything. This one says pray without ceasing, which is very super sweet. For the inside, I've been doing this a lot lately, just using the brushes that I used and the stencil and kind of just rubbing the ink from the stencil and the brushes onto the inside of the card. It's light. I can easily write over it, and it adds just something just a little bit pretty. So I did adhere this to an A2 size top folding card, and that is my card. I hope that you're enjoying the content here on Create and Inkspire. Remember, it is exclusive, and remember that if you are a member here at Create and Inkspire, you can get a discount on a monthly kit that is available on the 15th of every month. And as I always say, give cards generously.